interesting. I think one way that I've been trying to explain this to people who maybe don't live in Israel and don't kind of live and breathe this for the last few decades is that in many ways we're at an inflection point, right? We're in our 10th week of protests against what people are calling maybe the potential end of Israeli democracy. And then supporters are saying this is a long necessary rebalance to the judicial system, which is basically overrode in their point of view certain values and decisions made by the right wing predominantly. But in many ways, I think Israel's much like it ever was, right? We still have the same kinds of political tensions. We have the same religious and secular divides.
Are they the same?
They are.
Because it does seem like it's different.
So what's different is that it's playing out this time through judicial reform, but if you look at reform, the reform conversation and what people who are for and against it are saying, it's ultimately playing out against those lines. If you're listening to backers from the far right and the ultra-Orthodox segments of society who are predominantly the ones pushing these reforms, the far right is saying something along the lines of, hey, like, you know, this activist court doesn't stand up for settlement rights, doesn't agree with a lot of decisions that were made during the disengagement in 2005, if you remember 2004, 2005, when Israel unilaterally withdrew from Gaza. The High Court upheld decisions to hold demonstrators in custody until the end of the disengagement. And that's an open wound still for many in this community. They still bring it up today. We had members of Knesset and ministers talking about that this
week.
Well,
it makes sense because you've got Gvir talking about a heavy hand on the protesters, firing the Tel Aviv police chief. I mean, that's...
And it's so interesting because Gvir is a character. How did he first get to know the police? Well, it was by clashing with them. You know, Gvir was someone who was considered too extreme even to join the IDF when he wanted to enlist when he was 18 because he already held Jewish extremist views, which he was ultimately indicted and convicted for supporting a Jewish terrorist group and for incitement of racism. And then he's actually, in his law practice, before joining politics, legally defended Jewish terrorists, including the man who firebombed and killed members of the Dawabsha family.